guys, before we move on, I just wanted to go back to Teague Stevens just a minute ago. A couple minutes ago in his press conference was talking about the Teague minutes. And he says, quote, part of that was the
Gary
matchup.
Washburn flipped out.
What's that?
Did Gary Washburn ask him a question and flip out?
Yeah. Part of that was the matchup. They were targeting Payton a little bit. I thought Jeff was as good as anyone we had guarding Trae Young in the pick and roll. Payton wouldn't have lasted long with those 5 fouls. Hard to argue that. I still ride him till you die there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it got away from them, so, I mean.
It didn't feel like it spilled over big time until T got out there, though. And maybe Young turned it up at a moment where anyone in front of him would have been blasted off the court. So you never know.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't so much the defense. I mean, Teague turned it over twice and then missed like a little bunny. I mean, he killed 3 straight possessions.
The strategy there was off. They weren't following Capella at first. They went 2 possessions where they did it. They stopped on the third because he botched the layup inside. He had to travel a few plays before that. So once like 3 offensive sets went wrong, you're right. They got the stops they needed on defense. The Capella thing worked for 2 or 4 at the line. And then they just stalled themselves out on the offensive end. And guys, this offense, they're down to coming in tonight 16th in points per, in offensive rating and 22nd in points per game. This offense has fallen off a cliff in the recent weeks.
Let me say this. I know you just transitioned to offense for a second, but it's pretty freaking lowest of low when you start doing hack a Capella. I mean, hack a Shaq. Shaq was the most dominant big man in the history of the NBA. Dwight Howard. I get it. Those guys.
Point, Jimmy. The point is
you can't stop Clint Capella.
No, the point is math. It's not that. The point is math.
John, if they had people capable of playing defense in the paint.
That's not it. It's just a math equation. You need the ball back faster, so you foul early in the shot clock so you can get possessions back. It's a worthy trade-off. That's one of the reasons to do it.
But that was part of it.
They were down 10 with 2, and they thought, okay, let's shorten it. We need more. We need the ball more. So we'll live with Capella free throws early in the clock rather than have them run 24 seconds.
But even before that,
it's
fine. Even before that, he was having his way, as was the other bigs down low. I mean, their points in the paint tonight were absurd.
John Collins,
Bobby's boy.
We haven't even talked about him. Yeah,
he came out with fire in that first quarter.
I think I'm going to get him in the backcourt. A jump ball in the backcourt.
John Collins is nice.
Called the foul.
He's nice. I mean,
I thought they got him with the jump ball in the backcourt, but they called the foul. I don't think they were trying to foul there.
Yeah, that was a little.
It was close, right? It was about almost 3 seconds. They were both holding that ball, but
that was a close one.
You know how the Celtics are on jump balls in those situations. I would have said, "Oh man, this game's not over here."
I'm not sweating anything that happened late. The Rob free throws kind of killed it.
That sucked.
I thought the Teague stretch, I don't want to go back to it, but you lost 3 points during that Teague stretch. So it would have been 4, but for most of that final sequence, it was 7 because of the points they dropped there. I don't know. This whole game was kind of a mess after the first quarter. And it's too bad because they were decent offensively in the first.
Who's the last player like Teague to upset people this much? Like, who's the last person? Who's the last Celtic that every time he goes on the court draws the ire of the fans?
Enes Kanter.
Oh, you're saying a signing, or are you saying?
And it's Cantor. Only you and the other basketball brains who couldn't deal with Enes Kanter doing good things.
No, but seriously, who else of the entire all fans freaking out at once every time he steps on the court? I as much as Teague.
Mark Blount.
No,
Jason Terry, man. The Jet. That was like cool for about a month. Everyone was pissed.
They just had a few of those signings, like veterans coming in, low money that just have faded into the sunset.
He tatted the logo next to the championship trophy on his body. the championship trophy that he tatted on his arm for the Mavericks.
Shaq?
R.J. Hunter. No, Shaq barely played.
Wanamaker was a valuable bench.
Shemmy was close. People got really mad last year when Shemmy would get out there.
Yeah.
Jared Wallace was okay the first month or two. He's just broken.
I'm just picking an obscure year, somewhat recently.
Scalabrini.
All time, John. All time. Purvis Ellison. It's not even close.
Out of service, Purvis.
It's not even close.
That's
my
a
dad
nickname.
would get so.
It's one of my favorite alt nicknames.
Purvis Ellison.
Out of service, Purvis.
It's like the ultimate, like. switcheroo.
So what is I'm going to defer to John and Jimmy here because they've had the ideas the last few games that have worked. Do you just start Rob and Pritchard at this point because they're playing the best?
Start
I don't know why you wouldn't. We're overthinking it. Start your best players.
Start the guys. And again, I tweeted this jokingly again tonight about, like, it's so annoying every time Rob comes in, he makes instant impact plays. Like, he's in for 2 seconds and it's dunk, challenge shot, another dunk, hustle play,
right?
Pass inside. And again, this is where we come back to it. Is he makes. It's not just negating negative plays with positive plays. He makes positive plays that I think very few other people could make on this team in his position.
Vertical spacing.
All of it. It's just, and he does it all the time, and it still just goes, I wouldn't say unrewarded. I think everyone freaks out every time he's late on a switch or does something, and they're like, that's why he's not playing. It's like they completely forget or discount all of the positive things. And it's math. Like Jason Tatum had, as good as he was tonight, had a stretch where he just friggin' turned the ball over like 4 straight possessions, it felt like, just dribbling into traffic. Like, you live with that. You make plays, and sometimes you don't make plays. Like, it happens.
I don't know if it's just Celtics fans or if it's the position, but it seems like with big men, their mistakes are magnetized like 10x. Like Enes Kanter is a prime example. Like every time Enes Kanter was on the court for the Celtics last year, he did one little thing he would do wrong, and that was it. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
It was all you heard about on the Twitter sphere or wherever. That this one rotation that he missed, or the pick and roll defense, all that stuff. So
Rob's
it's similar to Rob now. It's like you can't take the good outweighs the bad. You have to play him. The energy he gives you. If you start the game with Pritchard and Rob today, this game could go completely different. Different. It could have gone. Who knows?
We'll never know. And I saw at least one person tweet this or a sentiment like it after Rob Williams made a not great play on the defensive end or got lost a little bit on a switch. And somebody tweets, or a couple people are like, "That's why he doesn't play more." And I'm like, "Do you really believe this? Like, he just had done 4 or 5 super positive things, and you think that one mistake is a hangable offense, and that's why he's not playing?
What do you think's more likely?
Brad thing, because Brad is quick on the trigger when you have those defensive lapses. That's like the one thing he can't abide by. But again, it's that, as you said, Jim, the positive negative thing. Like, you have to look at both.
I wonder if it's the veteran hierarchy thing that we've assumed Stevens has had here in the past based on other rotations we've seen, or if it's legitimate things that he's seeing. I think it's something between those two, because I'm not sure if he's going to bench Kemba ultimately for Pritchard or Thompson.
He's not, but this was the perfect time to play Pritchard.
Today was, today was.
That's what I mean.
All the time. I think he just wanted to see it tonight.